Good evening, you're watching AWANI Tonight with me, Faye Kwan. The government will announce a new floor price for paddy to support farmers and provide subsidies to cap prices for consumers. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim says Agriculture and Food Security Minister Datuk Sri Muhammad Sabu will table a paper to announce and clarify the floor price increase.
Naik harga bagi pesawat akan naik harga bagi pengguna. Kita tak mahu naik bagi pengguna. Jadi setakat ini saya bincang Kementerian Keuangan supaya kerajaan akan menampung lagi subsidi supaya harga pasaran beras tempatan bagi pengguna tidak dinaikkan. Maknanya kerajaan akan menampung lagi sekitar 150 juta untuk 6 bulan. Itu yang akan ditamatkan dalam masa yang singkat.
The paddy floor price was raised from RM1,200 to RM1,300 per tonne in 2024. Last week, paddy farmers represented by the Pertubuhan Persaudaraan Pesawah Malaysia or Pesawah urged the government to consider raising the price to RM1,800 in light of increasing operating costs for farmers.
There are no plans to amend the Whistleblower Protection Act to extend protection to individuals who make public disclosures before reporting to enforcement agencies. Law and Institutional Reform Minister Datuk Sri Azalina Othman Syed says whistleblowers are only eligible for protection if they report to enforcement agencies first. Azalina was responding to Seputeh MP Teresa Kok on whether the proposed amendments to the Act would allow exceptions for disclosures made in public interest. She noted that whistleblowers don't always act in good faith, which is why they must report to an enforcement agency first. Several amendments, however, are being considered to strengthen the Whistleblower Act. These include changes to Section 6, which aims to prevent overlaps with existing laws and encourage whistleblowing without legal barriers, as well as Section 11 to extend witness protection for whistleblowers acting in good faith, among others. The overall student dropout rate in both primary and secondary schools has decreased from 21,748 in 2020 to 13,007 last year. Deputy Minister of Education Wong Kah-Wah says of the total, 2,873 students successfully returned to school last year.
Kah-Wah said the primary school dropout rate decreased from 0.1% in 2020 to 0.06% in 2024, while in secondary schools the dropout rate decreased from 1.13% to 0.64% in 2024. Kah-Wah said to further address dropouts, the government plans to add 7 more comprehensive special model schools K9, which provide continuous education within the same school, from preschool to Form 3. Currently, there are 28 K9 schools and 2 K11 schools that offer continuous education up to Form 5, located in Betau, Pahang, and Long Berdian, Sarawak.
The cost of implementing the National Service Training Programme, or PLKN 3.0, has been significantly reduced, with an estimated cost of RM2,000 per trainee. Defence Minister Datuk Sri Muhammad Khalid Nordin says this cost is notably lower than previous versions of the programme.
He explained that the PLKN 1.0 had an annual cost of RM565 million for 71,300 participants, while PLKN 2.0 cost RM361 million for 20,000 participants. In contrast, he said that the annual cost of PLKN 3.0 is RM200 million, yet it benefits over 100,000 participants, as the program is now held not only at Territorial Army Regiment camps under the Malaysian Armed Forces, but also in universities and polytechnics. He was responding to a question from War MP Syed Saddiq Syed Abdul Rahman, who had raised concerns about the high cost of PLKN 3.0 and its military training content. Khalid added that the ministry would implement thorough monitoring to ensure the effectiveness of PLKN 3.0, which will involve various parties. The first series of PLKN 3.0 for 2025, which includes 120 trainees, began at the 515th Territorial Army Regiment Camp in Kuala Lumpur on January 12. This marks the program's re-implementation 7 years after it was discontinued.
Chinese AI startup DeepSeek is not a threat to Malaysia's data center growth, says Digital Minister Gobind Singh Deo. He says the government is assessing DeepSeek's impact on energy consumption and exploring its potential benefits for the country. Gobind emphasized the importance of adapting existing policies to keep pace with new technological developments, adding that factors such as cost and energy consumption must also be carefully considered. He also noted that the government is reviewing concerns raised by other countries regarding DeepSeek's data compliance practices. DeepSeek's AI application became the most downloaded free app on the Apple App Store within a week of its release. AI graphics processing giant NVIDIA Corp saw its market capitalization drop by over $600 billion last week following the launch of DeepSeek. Commuters travelling within the Klang Valley to and from Batu Caves can enjoy free KTM rides for 48 hours, starting at midnight on February 10th for Thaipusam. Transport Minister Anthony Loke says the KTM commuter service will also operate 24 hours daily for 4 days from February 9th to 12th.
Commuters can use cashless payment methods including the KTMB mobile app, commuter link card, touch and go card or debit and credit cards with charges waived upon checkout between February 10th and 11th. Free physical tickets with a QR code will also be available at counters. From February 9th to 11th, senior citizens, the disabled and children aged 2 to 6 years old will get a 50% discount, while children under 2 travel free. Anthony expected 500,000 commuters during this period, a 10% increase from last year. Meanwhile, Prasarana Malaysia will also provide free shuttle services, with Rapid KL offering 30 free buses from Hub Bandar Pasar Seni, LRT Gombak and MRT Kampung Batu to Batu Caves, while Rapid Penang will run 12 free buses from the ferry jetty to Adventist. Additionally, Penang Port Commission and Penang Port will offer free 24-hour services on February 10th and 11th, with extended service until 2:30 am on February 12th. Bus.my will provide additional free services in Johor Bahru, Seremban and Ipoh for Hindu devotees travelling to nearby temples.
We will head for a quick break. Stay tuned.
Kerap menggaru kulit kepala disebabkan kelomomor, masalahnya lebih mendalam. Gunalah Head and Shoulders, menembusi 5 lapisan untuk membasmi kelomomor dan kegatalan. Bebas kelomomor sehingga 100%. Head and Shoulders diuji secara dermatologi.
Welcome back. China has slapped new tariffs on American goods in response to US levies that took effect today, reigniting a trade war between the world's two biggest economies. Beijing is imposing a 15% tax on US coal and liquefied natural gas and 10% on crude oil, farm machinery, pickup trucks and some sports cars. US President Donald Trump's 10% tariff on all Chinese imports into the US kicked in this afternoon. Within minutes, China's Finance Ministry announced its own levies, set to take effect on February 10th. Adding to the tensions, China is also tightening export controls on key metals, including tungsten, tellurium, and ruthenium, citing national security concerns. Beijing has also followed through on its WTO complaint against the new US tariffs and launched an anti-monopoly probe into Google, though the company's search engine has been blocked in China since 2010. The US-China trade war first erupted in 2018 under Trump's administration. Despite the friction, their economies remain deeply intertwined. The two countries are among each other's top trading partners. Separately, Trump has agreed to hold off imposing 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico for 30 days. After last-minute calls with Trump, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau agreed to reinforce his country's border with the US to clamp down on migration and the flow of the deadly drug fentanyl. Earlier, Trump also made a deal with Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum. She agreed to reinforce the northern border with troops. In return, the US would limit the flow of guns into Mexico. In an unprecedented deal, El Salvador has offered to take in criminals held in American jails and deportees of any nationality. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced the agreement after meeting with Salvadorian President Nayib Bukele on his tour of Central American countries.
Rubio told reporters that the U.S. was grateful for El Salvador's decision, adding that no country had ever made such an offer of friendship. He added that Bukele was willing to accept both Salvadorian citizens and migrants from other countries and house them in jails, suggesting that the focus would likely be on Latin American gang members. The U.S. top diplomat has raised Bukele for his policies on gang violence, which have dramatically reduced crime rates in El Salvador, once considered the murder capital of the world. Since taking office in 2019, Bukele's crackdown on crime and gangs have transformed El Salvador into one of the safest countries in the region. An estimated 75,000 people have been arrested under sweeping emergency measures that have been repeatedly extended, raising concerns among human rights groups.
South Korea has pledged to overhaul its aviation safety system from the ground up in response to two major aviation accidents. The Transport Ministry today launched a new committee to improve air travel safety in the country and restore public trust. The Air Safety Innovation Committee would operate for 10 weeks with the goal of drafting an aviation safety reform plan by April. It would include private sector experts and look at issues including maintenance at budget airlines, as well as airport construction and operations. The move comes in the wake of the Jeju air crash on December 29th that killed all but 2 of the 181 passengers and crew on board. Just last week, an Air Busan plane caught fire as the low-cost carrier's jet prepared for departure, with all on board evacuated safely. Investigations into the causes of both incidents are ongoing. OpenAI is teaming up with South Korean tech giant Kakao to develop AI products, marking its second major partnership in Asia this week. Kakao operates Kakao Talk, the country's dominant messaging app with a 97% market share, and has expanded into e-commerce, payments, and gaming.
While the company sees AI as a key growth driver, analysts say it lags behind local rival Naver in the AI race. The deal comes as OpenAI CEO Sam Altman embarks on a whirlwind tour of the region. On Monday, he announced a partnership with Japan's SoftBank Group, and according to sources, he is set to visit India on Wednesday, where he hopes to meet Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Like SoftBank, Kakao said it would be using technology developed by the ChatGPT creator for its products. Altman says South Korea's energy, semiconductor and internet companies made the country an important market for OpenAI.
That report wraps up AWANI tonight. Do check out our web portal, keeping you informed on the critical events shaping our world, all in one place at international.astrowawani.com. That's all for now. I'm Faye Kwan. Thank you for watching and good night.